Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make this dinosaur, which was designed by me. I always mess up the name of this guy. I've just been calling him the long neck dinosaur because that's what he is. But here he is. I think it's, what is it, a Brachiosaurus? Something like that. It has a B. I am so bad with names. Not the point. Um, oh, I forgot to fix my light. That's why I'm like, lighting's a little weird. I forgot to turn it on. Hold up. Okay, there we go. Lighting's a little better. So here's the design. It is a long neck dinosaur, as I said. Where's my stegosaurus? Now we have so many dinosaurs on this channel. I'm so happy about this. I have a love for dinosaurs. I don't know why. Not even like actual dinosaurs, just like the cartoony dinosaurs, because look how cute these are. Also, the fact to think that there was once giant lizards is just so weird. Anyways, dinosaurs. So we have these. And of course, we have the dinosaur that was posted on my channel a while ago, the Triceratops. So now we have a whole little family of dinosaurs, which is so fun. Anyways, today I'm going to be showing you how to make the one with the long neck, like I said. So, band-wise, I forgot the band count again today. Is anyone surprised? Not even. So if you want to know the band count, you can check the description. Today for the colors, I'm going to be using 2 different shades of green. And, you can kind of tell on this guy, I did some little, like, just like a different color of bands, and I just threw them in there. I didn't really mark where I put the bands because I kind of just picked random spots and was like, I'll just put some here. And today it's going to be kind of the same thing. I'm not really gonna tell you how to place these, but basically all I did was just place a second color in randomly, and I'll be doing that again today. But yeah. So yeah, this design is fairly easy. It's very similar to the other 2 dinosaurs. Most similar to not the Triceratops, the Stegosaurus. And yeah, it's pretty easy. If you made my other dinosaurs, you should be okay with this one. It's exactly the same. So yeah, check the description for the band count. And yeah, I guess we'll get started. Like I said, you're going to need some bands for this. A hook. I'm only using my double-ended hook today. But you only need one side of it, so you just get any hook you want. Crochet hook, RainbowLoom hook, whatever. And you're going to need something to mark your rows. I have a C-clip, but you can use whatever you want. I just like using C-clips. And yeah. Okay, sorry, I had to pull out all of my bands because they were in bags. But yeah, so we'll get started. We start with his body, and then we basically attach everything onto the body. By the way, I have nothing in his neck. It's just stuffing, and he holds up pretty well. So you don't have to like put wires or anything. That being said, if you use polyfill, his neck will probably be floppy. So you're probably going to want to use like cotton balls just for his neck. Well, like you can use polyfill for the rest of him, but for his neck, if you use cotton balls, it just helps it hold better. Anyways, we'll get started. So pick up some bands. Okay, so to start, we're going to start with a tripled cap band. Also, if you want to just follow the pattern, it's in the description, as usual. Where did my pen go? Oh, it's right here. I just need that for writing on the pattern, but yeah. Focus camera, there we go. So to start, like I said, we're going to do a tripled cap band, and then we're going to put 5 stitches in it. So if you already know how to do that, you can go ahead and get started, but I'll show everyone in case they don't know. But you're going to start by wrapping a band 3 times around your hook. So 1, 2, and 3. Like I said, we're putting 5 stitches in this cap band, so I'll show you. So you'll start by pulling a band through the cap band, both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, like that. And then you're going to go back through the cap band. Make sure you go through the whole cap band. Pull a band through just the cap band. Both ends back on your hook. Push the back one over the front one. And then push the loop from last time over as well. Like that. So we're just going to repeat that exact same thing we just did 3 more times. So we have 5 stitches in total. So we'll go back through the cap band. Pull the band through just the cap band. Both ends back on your hook. Back one over the front one. And then the loop from last time. Do that 2 more times. So 1, 2, like that. And now we're going to make sure we have 5 loops. So you'll start by counting the loop on your hook, and then you'll count backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's not a loop. Sometimes that'll look like a loop, but this is the last loop. Just showing you that in case you're confused. But yeah, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So once you've made sure you have 5 stitches, instead of going into the cap band, we're going to go in through this first loop. We're going to do the same thing like we did with the cap band, so you'll pull the band through just the loop, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. And we'll be putting our C-clip on this one. Like that. So that's the first part. Now we're going to do the next part, and what we're going to be doing now is we are going to be increasing 2 on the top for the next 3 rows. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to pick a point on our, because it's a circle. So we're just going to pick a point on our circle, and that's going to be our top, like with quotation marks. And we're just going to increase in the same, like this same spot every time. I'm going to increase right here. So I'll show you what I mean by that. But we're going to do single stitches until we get to our top, if you know what I mean. Like the top of the dinosaur. We're deciding what the top is, basically. And you don't have to put it in the same spot as I did mine. It's just you want to increase on the top of your dinosaur every time. So wherever you did the increases last row, you're going to want to do it about the same spot again. So I'll show you that. But I'm going to do a single stitch. So we did 2 single stitches because we have this one and then our C-clip. And then on these next 2 loops, I'm going to do increases. So what an increase is you're going to put 2 stitches in this loop. So we'll put 1, and then you go back in and do another one. And that'll be an increase. And like I said, we're increasing 2 on the top. So this is our top of our dinosaur now. So we're just going to do 2 increases right next to each other. And then the rest of the way is just single stitches. So single stitch. And single stitch on the one with the C-clip. And we then after... so many words. Once we've done a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it, you'll just take the C-clip off this loop and move it up onto the one that's on your hook. So now if you count around, we should be at 7 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that. So like I said, for the next, it was for 3 rows in total, we're going to be doing this where we just increase 2 on the top of our dinosaur. Or basically where we increased last time. I'm going to stay on camera to do all of the rows with you so you can follow along if you're confused. But yeah. Okay. So as you can see, you can kind of see where we increased last row because these loops have 2 stitches in it. So we're going to increase around here again. I'm probably going to do it on, probably do it on these 2 loops right here. So this will be our first single stitch. In case you forgot what we're doing, we're just going to do 2 increases on the top again. So I just did 2 single stitches because this will count as the first one, this is the second one. And now we're going to do 2 increases right here. We'll just do 2 increases, one right after the other. Like that. And then the rest of the way is just single stitches. You know, I don't know why, but sometimes when I'm filming lately, I can kind of hear my Texas accent, and I'm like, ew. Maybe it's because I was talking to my sister this morning. She has a bit of a thicker Texas accent. So sometimes when I talk to her, I go all like, yeehaw, and it always throws me off. But once you get to the one with the C-clip on it, you make a stitch and move your C-clip up. And now if we count around, you should be at 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like that. So we're going to do that again, and like I said, now it's easy to see what the top is because it's right here. Like, that part's obviously sticking up. So we're going to do our 2 increases right here. And I'm picking up bands. So we're just going to do single stitches until we get to the top of our dinosaur. I'll tell you how many I do in case you want to do your increases in the same spot as me. Okay, so I just did 3 single stitches, so 1, 2, 3. And now on these top 2 loops, we're going to do 2 increases right next to each other. And this is the last row we do this. So once you get to the C-clip, you just move it up. And now if you count around, you should be at 11 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like that. So now what we're going to be doing is we are going to increase only one on top this row, I think. Yes, we're only increasing one on top this row. So it's going to just be single stitches, and then once we get to the top of our dinosaur, we do one increase and then single stitches the rest of the way. So very similar to what we did the past 3 rows, just we're only doing one increase this time. So I usually like to look to see where I'm going to increase first. I'm probably going to increase on this band right here. So I'll just do single stitches until I get to there. And I'll tell you how many single stitches I do, but yeah. Okay. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4 single stitches, and now I'm going to do the increase on this one. And then we just do single stitches the rest of the way. And then once you get to the C-clip, you're going to make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it and move it up. Like that. So now if we count around, we should be at 12 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like that. So now what we're going to do is we are going to do 3 rows of just single stitches. So just no increasing, just 3 rows normal, single stitches. That's all we're going to do for the next 3 rows. I'm going to stay on camera and do the first row with you, and then I'll go off and do the other 2. But it's pretty simple. We just do single stitches all the way around. You know, I posted the Stegosaurus tutorial yesterday, and someone told me that they look like the dino chicken nuggets and it's perfect, and I'm like, that is exactly what I wanted. Like, honestly, I wasn't going for realistic dino shape. I was going for, like, cartoony dino, so someone told me that, and I was like, yes, you know exactly what I was going for. I am more than likely going to have to skip a tutorial for my 12 days of tutorials today, just because my sinuses have been, they were okay, and then I went to church on Saturday, and the priest used incense, and I was like, gosh dang it, and it really set off my sinuses, so I was, like, in pain yesterday, so I didn't get to film, and I really wanted to put this tutorial out right after the Stegosaurus, just because of how it would line up on my channel. So I think I'm going to have to skip a day today, which sucks, but let's be real, we all knew I was not going to make it for 12 consecutive days. Honestly, my goal is more just to put out 12 tutorials before Christmas. Because I knew consecutive days it's going to be hard, but I'm just hoping. I know for sure right now I have planned and pretty much filmed up to tutorial number 8. So for sure getting 8 tutorials, but those last 4 are not done yet, but I still have plenty of days, so it's like not a big deal. I mean, I'm barely posted 4, so I still have 4 more days worth of tutorials. It's just, yeah. But anyways, I just did 1 row of single stitches, and if I counted around, I would still be at 12 loops. So I'm gonna go do the other 2 rows because we have to do 3 rows total of just single stitches. That was the first one. I'm gonna go off camera, do 2 more rows, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I just finished doing the 3 rows of single stitches, and now my dinosaur looks something like this. And I also just realized, because I was like, why haven't I used my second color of green yet? Yeah, I forgot completely to add a second color in this dinosaur. And I didn't realize it, because usually I write in my pattern, like, where I place the colors, but for this guy, it wasn't, like, life or death, I guess, where the colors went. Like, I just put them randomly, so I was like, oh, I'll just put them randomly in the tutorial, and then I forgot completely. So good job, me. If you want spots on your dinosaur, literally, where I put them is, I would just put them randomly. Like, just randomly throw some colors in. That's how I did it. And I would just randomly put the colors towards the top of my dinosaur, so, like, because when we're increasing on the top, you kind of know what the top is. I would just put them randomly, and same thing with when we do the neck, I would just put it on the back part of the neck. I guess my dinosaur will just be plain, though, because it's too late now. Like, if I throw color in, it's gonna look weird. So he'll just be 1 color. It's fine. Anyways, we're gonna continue. So for the next row, we're gonna be decreasing 2 on top. So very similar to how we increased. Now we're gonna decrease on the top. Okay. So there we go. So decreasing takes up 2 bands. So I'm gonna probably decrease on these 4 on the top right here. I think I only have to do 1 single stitch. So I did one single stitch and then the C-clip one, and on these two, the next two, I'm going to do decreases. So inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and we just make our stitch on this. Show you that again, so you get the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch, and then the rest of the way is just single stitches because we just did 2 decreases. So the rest of the way is single stitches. I can't believe I forgot to add the color though. I was like, man, why haven't I used my second color? That's why. You just forgot about it completely. Yep. I mean, it's not like the biggest deal though. Like, honestly, if you want to add it in, I'll put it in the description too. You just put them randomly on towards the top of your dinosaur. Like, it's just color placement. So I'm not going to refilm this tutorial just because I forgot the color, because this guy also looks cute plain, so it doesn't matter. Like that. Okay, so this row, well, no, we have to count still. Getting ahead of myself. So after that row, you should have 10 loops, so if we count around, you should have 10, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that. And now we're going to do another row, but just decreasing 1 on the top. So the next stitch for me is going to be my decrease because the top's right there. So I'm going to just do my 1 decrease for this row, because we're only decreasing 1 this row. And then the rest of the way is just single stitches. You know, this dinosaur probably looks fine one color because I really want to try to make a tiny Santa hat and stick it on his head, like to post on Instagram. That would be so cute. If I figure out how to make a tiny Santa hat, would you guys want a tutorial for that? Because I think, who is it? Olympus shows how to make a Santa and he has a hat, but I think I want to do mine a little differently. So I'm going to try to figure out how to make a tiny Santa hat and stick it on this dinosaur. Like, that would be adorable. That is going to be my mission after I finish this tutorial. I'm going to be like, he needs a hat. Also because my family's decorating for Christmas today. I'm also just talking because I'm just doing single stitches until we get to the end, so not explaining is not needed. But yeah, we're decorating for Christmas today, which is fun. I'm going to try to help out even though I've been dying of allergies, but we'll see how much I can help out. But yeah, once you get to the C-clip, you just move it up. And now if we count around, you should be at 9 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. So now is when we should stuff him. Before I forget, now is a good time to stuff. So you're going to want to get whatever you have for stuffing. I'm using cotton balls again, just because I like how cotton balls work best. You can use polyfill, whatever you want to stuff. But yeah, so we're just going to stuff him. And you can take your hook out to stuff him, because the C-clip should hold it, as long as you don't pull on it too much. I don't know what it is I was making the other day, but I was sitting on the couch, and I was looming, and we were watching some show. I was watching it with my sister, and I was like halfway done, and I had like the tiniest hole. And I was like, oh shoot, I forgot to stuff it. I think it was the stegosaurus I was working on. And it was literally like almost done. Like it was about to be closed up. And I was like, the stuffing, I always do that. I don't know what it is. I always forget the stuffing. And then I'll remember once it's like almost done. And I'm like, huh, he's kind of soggy. And I'm like, oh shoot. So I always do that. And I don't know why. I don't know if anyone else is like that. I just always nearly forget to stuff. But it's so important. And I always forget. Okay, and there we go. So once you finish stuffing, you're just going to put your hook back in, and if you're ever confused on which direction to put your hook back in, you kind of follow the direction of the loop. So you can see it's going like this, so our hook goes in this way. I'm sorry if you can hear my family yelling. They're just messing around. I just heard my dad yell my sister's name, so sorry. But yeah. Okay, so after we finish stuffing it, what we're going to do now is we are going to do 1 row of just normal single stitches all the way around. We should be at 9 loops. Yeah, we are. Okay. So we're just going to do a row of single stitches all the way around. And yeah. Yeah, I kind of had to cut off the last part because I didn't notice in my pattern I read it wrong. Oopsie. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of editing to this tutorial, but it's not too bad. I just accidentally skipped the 1 row of single stitches. But you, of course, won't see that because I'll fix the video, but I was just like halfway through and then I look at my pattern and I'm like, oh shoot, I messed up. But it was an easy fix, luckily, so it's not too bad. We're just doing a row of single stitches all the way around. Then once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it and move it up. Okay. So like I said, now if we count around, you should still be at 9 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to put a little bit more stuffing in his tail because he has some space now. That. But now what we're going to do is we're going to be decreasing every other, and what that basically means is we're going to do single stitch, decrease, single stitch, decrease, so we're just alternating between them. And yeah. So what we're going to do, so this will be our single stitch, so the next one's a decrease. Because we just did a decrease, now we're going to do a single stitch. And the next one's a decrease. And you just keep alternating between a decrease and a single stitch until you get to the C-clip. Decrease. Then you're just going to do a single stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it and move it up. So now if we count around, you should be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you should be at 6 loops. But now we're just going to close this up. So we're going to decrease everything until it's closed and we can actually take the C-clip out. Because every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease until we can't decrease anymore. Once you have that last decrease up on your hook, you're going to pull the band through everything on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then you're just going to hide the tail. So you'll just come up, pull that band in, and we just hide our tail. And then if we just squish our tail a little bit, if it looks a little funky, it should point out and look fine. Just squish him a little bit. And there we go. So that is the main body of our dinosaur. So now we're basically going to just be building off of this, is kind of how I like to think about it. I usually do the legs first and do the neck and head last. We do a little bit of a weird thing to do the head, so yeah. But we're going to do the legs next. So if you've made the Stegosaurus already, the legs are done the exact same way, like exactly the same. Just this time, it's on this dinosaur. So it's literally exactly the same as the Stegosaurus. But I'll show you how to do it. I'm just picking up bands. And I'm going to show you how to do it one time, and then I'm going to go off camera and do the other 3 legs, just because this tutorial would be insanely long if I stayed on for every single leg, and it's pretty self-explanatory once you figure it out. But basically, you're going to come to the bottom of your dinosaur, and you can tell which the bottom is because there's this big, like, it really goes up, so opposite of that. And you're going to stitch 5 times in a circle where you want the leg to be. So I'm going to go right here. And we're just going to stitch in a circle 5 times. So that's 1 stitch, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So once you've stitched in a circle 5 times, you're just going to count to make sure you actually stitch 5 times, because sometimes you'll lose count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once you've made sure you have 5, you're going to go into this first stitch here, the first loop, make a stitch, and then we'll be putting our C-clip on this one. Like that. And then we're going to do 2 rows of single stitches around this. So we're just going to do single stitches all the way around for 2 rows. And at the end of each of these rows, you should still be at 5 loops. So that was 1 row. We need to do 2, so I'm going to go around and do another one. like that. So I just finished doing 2 rows of single stitches, and I'm just going to count around to make sure I still have 5 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we can take the C-clip out at this point, and we're just going to decrease everything until we can't decrease anymore. So we're just going to keep decreasing until we can't decrease anymore. And once you have that last decrease up on your hook, you're just going to pull the band through everything on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then you just hide the tail into the leg. Like that. And that's it. We have 1 leg. So like I said, we need to do 3 of these. Well, 3 more of these, so he has 4 legs total. And I'm going to go off camera to do the other 3 just because it's really repetitive. Basically, we just repeat this for all the legs. And you can kind of see how I put the legs on this guy. So we're just going to do the same thing on this guy. It's kind of hard to show you where I place him anyway. So I'm just going to go off camera, do the other 3 legs, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I finished doing all the legs. I did them all the exact same way as the first one. I just placed them in where the legs should go. And now the only thing we have to do left is the neck and head, so that's what we're going to do. And it starts very similar to how we did the legs. So we're going to stitch 6 times in a circle where we want the neck. So I'm going to put my neck right here-ish. So I'm just going to stitch in a circle 6 times. 1... And you don't really have to stitch in a perfect circle, but you just want to make sure you go around 6 times. I don't know if my camera's focused. Focus! There we go. Shoot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 time short. Sometimes when I'm short, like in the circle, I just see if there's anywhere in the circle I could make bigger. That's usually a really easy fix if you accidentally stitch less times. So I'm just going to go here and here. And that'll make it 6. So now if I count around, I should have 6 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And like you saw the first time, I counted around, I had 5, so I just undid it and found a spot where I could put the 6th stitch. But now we're going to go into this first loop, make a stitch, and this is where our C-clip's going to go. So now what we're going to do is we are going to do 5 rows of single stitches around this circle. So we're just going to do a bunch of rows around this circle. And I'm probably going to need some more green bands because I'm running out. I'm going to stay and do a couple rows on camera with you, and then I'm going to go off and do the rest. But we have to do 5 rows of just single stitches around this circle. So many people are texting me right now. I think it's funny. I always see the text popping up. But yeah. Just gonna do 5 rows of single stitches all the way around. So that was 1, so I need to do 4 more. It's not even like a lot of people that are texting me. It's just my sister and cousin are texting in our group chat. But yeah. This is the second row of single stitches, and we just keep doing this. It's really repetitive to make the neck. Okay, and then we'll move our C-clip up. So I'm going to go off camera and do the other 3 rows, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so after the 5 rows, your neck should be looking something like this. Neck. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to get a tiny bit of stuffing and stuff it into the neck. You don't want to overstuff the neck, and I usually kind of use my hook to help me with this because it's really hard to get the stuffing in there. So I usually put some stuffing and then I'll just kind of shove it in with my hook because the neck's just so thin. It's really hard to put stuffing in. But you don't want to put a lot, just enough so it's kind of more stable. Okay, I'm gonna go finish stuffing it off camera because it's a little hard to stuff on camera. Okay, so I finished stuffing the neck, and now what we're actually going to do is we are going to set this aside for a second. So we're just going to leave the C-clip on so it would hold these together, and we're just going to set this all aside. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make a piece of the head. So basically, we're going to make the front part of this head, and then I'm going to show you how to attach the neck to the head, because that's how I kind of did it. But we're going to get started. So we're going to start by wrapping a band 3 times around our hook. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to be putting 4 stitches in this cat band. So very similar to what we did at the start of this dinosaur, but now there's like 1 less stitch. So I'm not going to explain in too great detail what we're doing because we already did this, but we're just putting 4 stitches in this cat band. And once you think you have 4 stitches, you're just going to want to count to make sure. So you'll start by counting the one on your hook. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then once you've made sure you have 4 stitches, instead of going to the cat band, you're going to go through this first loop here, make a stitch, and then we're going to put a C-clip on this one. Okay. So for the next row, we're going to be increasing everything, and what that basically means is every single stitch we do is going to be an increase. And at the end of this row, you should be at 8 loops. So this one has 1 stitch in it, so we're going to want to go back in and do another one. That way there's 2, so it's an increase. And we'll just keep doing this all the way around. So basically, we're just increasing on every single loop. Like that. We just keep doing this, so you're just increasing everything. And I'm not explaining too much because we've been increasing a lot, so it's pretty simple, but basically every stitch we did the last row was an increase, and now I'm just moving my C-clip up. So like I said, at the end of that row, you should be at 8 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a row of single stitches around this, and we should still be at 8 loops at the end of this row. So we're just going to do a row of single stitches around this. You know, I've been really meaning to make a video on how to read my patterns. I'm probably going to do that really soon. We're just doing a row of single stitches all the way around this. And once you get to the C-clip, you'll make your stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it, and you'll move it up. Okay. So that is it for this head bit, and now what we're going to do is a little weird and kind of challenging, is we're going to attach these 2 pieces together. And basically what I do for the first part is I just find the bottom part of this neck and then the bottom part of the head. And you can see with how I have them setting that these loops right here and this one right here line up. So I just go through both of them, and I'm just going to tie a slip knot around them. So we'll pull band through everything on our hook, back one over the front one, and pull tight. And I'm going to do it again for this loop that's right next to it. So we'll just slip knot them in. That. And these bands might get in the way. It's a little annoying, but it's the only way to do it. So let me check something really quick. Okay, I forgot how to do one part, but we're going to tie. So we usually tie 3 loops together. So this one right here, this loop, and then this loop right here, we're also going to tie together. So we're just going to tie 3 loops from the head to the neck, and we're just going to tie them. And it's kind of hard to see with these loops, so we're just going to Try to stuff them in his head. They're kind of just going to be in the way for a bit, so try to ignore them. So we're going to put our hook through this one that has the C-clip on it, and we can take the C-clip off. We're going to put our hook through this band that had the C-clip on it. And we're going to do single stitches until we get to this part right here. So we're just going to do single stitches until we get to there. And once we get to this piece, we're just going to get that band, put it up on our hook, and then push the back one over the front one. We're going to leave the C-clip on this one. And we're just going to do single stitches all the way around until we get to the C-clip. Actually, I'm going to move the C-clip back one. So I'm going to move the C-clip. I'm going to put it right here. It's kind of hard to explain what I'm doing, but we're just going to do single until we get to the C-clip that's in the back of the head. So we'll just do single stitches until we get to there. And you're going to have to try, like, it's going to be a little confusing with the loops we tied together. But we're not going to do stitches on those loops. We're just going to ignore them and leave the tails of them kind of hanging. You could probably tuck them or pull them down if they're really getting in the way, but I just don't bother. I just leave them there. Okay, so once you get to the C-clip that we kind of just moved to the back of the head, we're just going to make a stitch and then move it up. And you can move the C-clip to the back of the head too. It's probably just a good idea to just put it there, even if it doesn't really make sense. I just always move it there. So what we're going to be doing for this next row, and if we count around right now, you should be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops. If you're not at 7 though and you're at 8 or something, it's not the biggest deal because this is very weird to do. But what we're going to be doing now is we're just going to decrease every other. So we're going to do a single stitch, a decrease, a single stitch, a decrease. So this one will be our single stitch, so the next one's going to be a decrease. And we just keep doing this all the way around. So we're just alternating. And you kind of have to really just ignore these bands in the middle. I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing, but yeah. Do a single stitch. And we'll do a decrease. Single stitch. Then once you get to the one with the C-clip, you're just going to make a stitch on it. And you could you can move it up, but I'm just going to take it out. Actually, no, I'm going to move it up because I need to hide those tails. I'm going to just move it up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of hide the tails in this head. As well as I'm also going to add some stuffing to the head right now. So there is a very tiny hole at the top, but I'm just going to add some stuffing to his face. And I'm going to do what I did with the neck, where I kind of just use my hook to help me shove it in. Because it's kind of really hard to do that right now. I probably should have done it last row, but I forgot about the stuffing. So we're just going to shove it in using our hook. Get in there. Okay, I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to stuff his head. Okay, so I stuffed his head. And now that I've stuffed his head, I'm going to just take the C-clip out. After I put my hook back in, of course. And I'm just going to decrease everything until it's closed. So every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease until we can't decrease anymore. And it's really hard to show you what I'm doing. But we're just going to do nothing but decreases until we can't anymore. So we're just closing him up. And slip knot. And then we're just going to hide the tail into this head and neck area. Kind of looks really weird right now. But it should all smush in. Like that. So one thing with doing the head this way, sometimes there's these little holes that'll pop up. Like I have one right here. And they'll usually be on either side of the head. And if you have one of these, you can just slip knot a band to tie it shut. That's usually what I do because they annoy me. I actually don't have one on this side this time. Well, there's a slight one, but I'm going to leave it. So if you have any holes on the side of the head, just slip knot them shut. This is the best way I've found to attach the head like this. And yeah, sometimes it makes holes, but you just slip knot them shut and then they look okay. And there we go. We have our main dino shape now. So now all we need to do is add his face. So let me go grab some beads so we can do his face. Okay, so I went to go get beads and then some bands for the cheeks if you want to put cheeks on your dinosaur. My purple one has cheeks, but you can barely see them because she's purple. But I got some bands for that, and I also put one bead on a band without thinking because I've been showing you guys how I do that lately. So I'll show you right now. So you're going to get a string, piece of floss. I use dental floss all the time because it's just the easiest string to do this with. You're going to get your bead. You're going to put your bead onto the floss. It's really hard to go through these beads always because they're so tiny. And then you're going to get your band. You put it on. And then you're going to fold over this way and go back to through the bead. It's so hard to string these. Go in. Okay. And then you're just going to pull it onto the band. And there you go. So now we're going to tie these onto our dinosaur, wherever we feel like the eyes should go. So I'm going to put this one right here. Like that. And then I'll just hide the tail. Then we're going to come right here. Tie the other eye in. Okay. So now we're going to get our cheek bands and we're just going to tie them right under where, or right next to where the eyes are. I'm going to come right here. Gonna tie it in. And you just hide your tail. Has one cheek. Come to the other side. Come right here. And we just do it like a stitch, but we just don't pull it super tight. We just tie it tight enough so it doesn't come flying out. And there we go. He looks so cute. So I'm not gonna put a bow or anything on this guy just because I really want to try to make him a tiny little Santa hat. Around when I'm filming this, if you guys are watching this months later, it's almost Christmas, so I want to put a Santa hat on this guy. So I'm gonna leave him bald. But if you want to know how I did the bow, I show how to do it at the end of my mini gingerbread with a skirt tutorial. So you can check there. If not, I can basically explain it to you. You just put bands across 2 pins, like 5 of them, and then you just tie 2 bands, slip knot it around it, and it'll make a bow. So yeah, I'm not going to show how I do that. He looks so plain. I really should have given him speckles. I just forgot completely. Anyways, I hope your dinosaur turned out okay. I guess that's it for this tutorial because we're pretty much done. If you make one of these, definitely show them to me. I would love to see how yours turn out. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I have some more stuff coming. I actually have a sneak peek I can show you today. I can just show you a little bit. Ooh, you probably can't tell what that is, but it's one of the designs I'm working on. I don't know if it'll have a tutorial as of right now, but I'm going to be posting on my Instagram later today, so we'll see what everyone says. But yeah, so subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. There's definitely a lot more tutorials coming. And yeah, I hope you liked this video, and I hope your dinosaur turned out okay. I hope I explained everything well. And as always, my Instagram, Etsy, and all that will be in the description. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this one, so I'm going to go. Bye.